Hello. Hello, how's it going? Oh, just starting now. I'm just going to be starting in a couple of minutes. I just need to go change this water quickly. Okay, back. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I was using some paint stripper last night, so I don't want to start painting with that in the water. So yeah, I'm just going to share this stream. Okay, so I've got Katan here, making my way through more of the Shatterpoint commissions I had. I think what I want to start with is just doing some non-metallic metal, steel. I want to show some like high reflectivity stuff on here. Stuff I've talked about before in videos, but yeah, it's always interesting to do. One of my favourite things to paint is non-metallic metal. Definitely comes from that very being like 90s Warhammer child, just like doodling all the kind of like non-metallic metal, like the chrome and stuff like that. Just really over the top like logos and artwork and stuff. Yeah, non-metallic metals always appeal to me. I am trying to keep up my game of using regular metallics, but yeah, it's always nice to get something lovely and shiny, yeah, that's just solidly black, white, greys. I don't know if you can see here, let me just move this forward. Literally what my paints from yesterday like. That's alright. I'll use the grey still, and this white's gone very watery though. So yeah, I mean what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be creating like a nice little grey scale here. Oh god, these Paracryl paint pot things. When they get stuck, they really get stuck, and please don't explode everywhere. It's so weird that no one's engineered like the perfect paint pot yet. I guess just like no matter what you do, paint's gonna jam it up. Oh, there we go. Got it. Right, so the first thing I want to do really is just kind of set down some kind of grayscale. So I want a nice little kind of range in my palette, really. And the quite dark ones at the start, getting lighter and lighter. Yeah, that's looking nice, and then we start adding in the whites. Okay, that's a nice little range there. So I think starting with this, I'm just going to start by like highlighting up some. Brush is a little too wet there, not really getting any paint. There we go. There's the pigment we like. So yeah, this is just me starting to paint in some of the light reflections. I'm just going to highlight up where it's brightest, and remember you're dealing with steel, which is a quite reflective surface, so it's going to go, the highlights are going to go quite bright. Brighter than they would if it was like, for example, like rusted metal or so, or even like a matte surface. At this stage I'm just kind of roughly sketching where light might naturally fall. Might need to get my magnifying lenses on for this because it's pretty small. Right, now I'm going up a shade and I'm just going to do a slightly smaller area on the same thing. Slightly pulling away, I'm going to come back to that. So yeah, just building up some nice little highlights. Got one concurrent viewer, lovely. Hello there if you're still watching. And hello to people watching this in the future. I know a lot of people do tune in after I've streamed. Just want to get this nice and solid here, this little highlight I'm sketching, and then we can take it a bit brighter. I'm going to go to just fairly close to pure white, but not actual touching it, because if you do, you've got nothing to go to when you want to get like a supremely bright edge highlight or something. Always try and avoid using your pure white until the very last moment, because you always want something brighter to be able to reach to. Okay, let's try adding some shade here, and this one's Shade's going to be in the middle, this bit here, so it's mostly going to be covered. But then one thing I will do is just re-establish that edge line, and I'm really going to need to get my magnifying specs here because I cannot see. Yeah, it's very small. Okay. So where are we? I'm just going to paint this into all the little edge bits around this holster. You want to try and increase the contrast wherever you can between sections to just help separate them and give them a bit more kind of well, yeah, just like visual separation, really. Okay, so we got something. It's looking very rough at the minute. You can tell it's like just my first pass. We're slowly. I'm just going to push that a bit darker into the shadows. But yeah, the point is I'm going to work from this and just kind of turn this basic idea into hopefully something that really sells that metal look. And the main part about this, I always find, is that getting that contrast right. You need the really dark bits, and here I'm going to actually like pure black. And I'm just being very careful, kind of painting it into the recesses. The further you go to opposite ends, the more it's going to sell that kind of high reflectivity. What I can say now is it's probably a bit too heavy on the white end of the spectrum. I need to glaze down into some mid-tones. That's going to be the next bit then. Just go paint over this, and I'm bringing it back down from where I highlighted it up, but then I'm going to highlight it up again, just going slightly smaller the next time so it fits in a bit better. How's everyone doing today? I don't know if there's anyone in chat at the minute, but I hope you're all well. Be lovely to hear from people. I was at Battleground Gaming. I don't know if you saw our video in the week. Me and Luke went along. I got the best painted army medal, which is really cool. I'm super happy with that medal. I might show it off on stream in a bit if I remember. Very cool. I feel like paint's not behaving as well as I'd like. Maybe I should have got some new. This grey seems alright still. I might need to put some new stuff on my palette. We'll see. So as you can see, I've just kind of flattened out almost all of that highlight that wasn't really working for me. I'm going to hit that again in a second. Just doing a bit of refinement. I want to get this edge, it's driving me mad. There's a little bit that goes over the edge there. Using a really fine point and a black line to separate all the details is one of my favourite ways to really make stuff pop out. But it can be difficult because you have to do those lines really fine. So we're almost back to this kind of grey panel now, but don't worry, once I'm on the second pass it should start looking more metallic. Struggling a bit with paint consistency today, I don't know why. Okay, right. So let's get some highlights in, just a lot kind of more precisely. I want it following the line of this pouch, which is, you know, the same line as the leg. And it has to be because of the volume, the shape of the surface. You're basically painting a cylinder, so you're thinking about highlighting any of these leg panels like you would a cylinder, just in like kind of brighter and brighter like bands inside each other. There's got to be a better way of describing that, right? Bands of light kind of getting brighter. This is having a nasty tendency to just kind of separate and leave a darker line in the middle, which is what I don't want. I want the brightest line in the middle. Bottom, and let's just straighten this bit out here. This side, yeah, I won't like that much. Oh, hello there, hello in chat. I don't know how long ago that was, I've only just noticed it. See Tammy and someone else. Hello there, someone else. Hello Tammy as well. Hope everyone's well today. I'm going to go a little bit brighter. I'm getting close to that pure white now, so I need to be careful not to overdo it. You can always glaze it back down if you do go to pure white early, but I don't know, I just want to try and control these and not have to do too much reglazing. would be nice if I could just finish this model fairly quickly. I'm not looking to spend a million years on it, even though I am going a bit in deep on this panel here just for demonstration purposes. I like that. I'm just using the little dots on the side. You're thinking of, oh, some Night Lords, nice, nice. Yes, Autumn recently picked up the, was it the Night Lords kill team and the regular Chaos kill team? Okay, so now I'm just going to my pure white, and I'm very hesitant about this, but I just want to try just a little dot on each of these sides, slightly displaced. Oh, hello there, and there's Luke as well. So it looks like the whole Bleeding Tree Gaming crew is in here. I'm just doing quite a thin line there. Cool, cool. Right, so let's go for just a fully black bit in the middle of there as well, to just really get that. So that, I think you can see that's, am I even staying on camera at the minute? Apologies, I'm just looking up at the screen now. Apparently I was way off there for a bit. Last time I particularly put a marker to know where I was supposed to be holding the Mini to get it on camera. Yeah, those upgrade sprues do look great. Right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to go to my very nearly white. And this is going to be the hard bit on these tiny little edges, because I've got to edge highlight them. That's how you sell the non-metallic metal. But it's very hard to do on camera. Because these are some very fine edges indeed. And the reason it sells the non-metallic metal is because, like, the actual metal is so reflective, so the edges will reflect the most light. I'm trying to think, is that the best way of describing that? But yeah, it's just like a highly reflective surface, and so you need to get the edges really to sell it. If you don't do the edges, it's not going to read as reflective. Don't know how I feel about that yet. Maybe I should try the inside edges, but that's going to be even trickier. Go on, let's give it a go. If I have to go silent while peering really closely at that, I apologise. I hope everyone's day's been going well. I know it's Monday. Which is always a pain in the arse. But yeah, I hope people have been having as much of a good one as can be expected. Okay, I've just about got most of this. That is so fine. I'm also going to add a little bit of an inside edge highlight. These are the very Heavy Metal Team ones where, you know, you're edge highlighting where there's not actually an edge. And it's just, like, again, separating the different sections of it. Trying to sell that kind of reflectivity. I'm not going to do it all the way around to the darkest parts, but where I do it, it does really sell that effect a bit more. Okay, so I think that's looking alright. There's possibly some changes I'd make in future, but I think I'm going to move on from there and let's have a look at these chest panels here. So I'm going to sketch out the darkness first and the shadow parts here. Not like the darkness. I believe in a thing called love. Just listen to the rhythm of my heart. I did before starting, if you didn't hear me say, I did just kind of sketch in the basic colours on Bo-Katana, so I don't have to just keep on like referring back to images all the way through the stream. But there are some little details that I'm going to have to check up on next time I get a chance to look back. Like, just like these little kind of, like, what's this little diamond? In fact, let's have a look now. That's not going to interrupt the stream much. Let's have a look, see what they've painted as. I can see other people have it. I guess it's just kind of also in a metal texture. There's like a couple of little yellow lines in the top corner. Yeah, so I guess metal in the centre, a couple of little yellow lines in the top corner. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So yeah, I'm planning on going for like till maybe 6:30, and then I've got to call it because I've got D&D this evening. What I think is happening here that you can just see is my paint's drying out a little quickly because it's like right under the light today, just because I want to, you know, show people what's going on in my palette. That's okay. So we're just adding the shadow to this. I might do some bounce reflections on this part in particular, just to kind of add to the shading of it. See, I've kept most of it as the mid-tone and I've just kind of shaded down like the underneath. So the next thing to do is to highlight up the top of the boobs. And I'm going to go, you know, just pretty solid with this first pass, and then I might kind of refine it later. I'm trying to keep quite focused in the places that are going to get an above mid-tone highlight, because although it is a highly reflective surface, I think I went a bit too heavy into it at first on the lower ones, so I'm just being mindful of trying to keep that mid-tone grey as the main colour. Okay, so one more highlight up. I'm really kind of focusing this. Can't tell if that's supposed to be some detail on this lower panel here. But if it is, I'll find out later. I'll refine it at some point as I'm working on it. When you're working on a Mini, it's useful to think like, the more time you spend with it, the more you're going to notice little details and stuff, and you might not work out exactly what something is at first, but kind of as you're refining and going along, it kind of eventually becomes clear usually. If you're really not sure, then that's when you need to see, like, just search for pictures of other people's painted versions. What used to be the best thing for GW stuff, at least, was the 360 images, but they no longer do those now, which is such a shame because those were really designed with like the painter in mind. It's such a pain not being able to go on it like, oh, I can just rotate and find exactly what that little doohickey is supposed to be painted as. Yeah, no, you can usually see, they do have a lot of photos on there, but they don't make it as easy for you, which is a shame. So on this one I'm actually just going to jump straight ahead to the edge highlighting stage on here, just because I want to get some kind of refinement on the edges, and it's a little hard around this centre bit to just really get exactly what's going on there. This is quite a rough edge highlight here, but it will help me separate all these different sections. Oh, 6 views. I think this is getting close to my max on one of these. It seems I've had lots of viewers catching up on the stream, you know, after I've streamed it, which is fair enough. Not everyone's around to watch. I hope this is entertaining to people, or at least has some kind of educational value maybe. If you're just joining, this is just painting Katan for Star Wars Shatterpoint. Oh, well, that's in the title, but yeah, I'm just sort of doing some like non-metallic metal steel, and might look like I'm making a little bit of a pig's ear of it in places here now, but I promise you this will look good. If you can see there, that's a basic thing. It could probably do with a kind of like a pass to smooth out some of those layer lines. I think what I'm going to do is go back to my mid-tone grey, and that's just uniform grey from Warpaint Fanatics. God, everything's really drying out where I've just put my palette right under the camera. Not the ideal spot for it, but oh well. So yeah, I've just got that mid-tone grey, and I'm just going to work it onto that line between the mid-tone grey and the first layer of shadow, because that's the most blatant line I can see. I'm just hitting it loads of times just to straighten that out. Okay. Then I do the same in the opposite direction where it gets highlighted into the next brightest colour. Also going to do some things like get some of the shadow colour and just kind of work that onto this line here. Really kind of define the lowest level of shadow there. Obviously under this arm here the shadow is going to be a bit heavier. I'm really struggling with it drying up on my brush at the minute. Apologies for this. Don't know why I'm apologising, but there you go. A little bit into there. Something going on that belt I haven't quite worked out yet. So yeah, I'm going to give it another another 25 minutes, then I'm going to have to call it. It's only a short one today. I really keep on meaning to do this more regularly, but I was very burnt out last week. There was not really a whole lot I could do, unfortunately. Just had to rest, and to be honest I spent a lot of time playing Dark Souls 3. That's my second time playing through it, and I was determined to actually beat some of the optional bosses as well. Well, hopefully all of them. I've got to the point where I've just got Nameless King, Slave Knight Gale, what's the other one? I guess Solar Cinder. Yeah, I think that's it. And yeah, I've never beaten those ones before. I did beat, I've just recently, like last week, beaten Sister Frida for the first time, and oh god, that was a pain in the ass. Don't really get as much time as I used to just sit down and grind bosses, so... I've also been playing some Space Marine 2. There was this, I believe it's the Mark 8 errant helmet thing was on, but it's still going, the thing where you have to win like 6 matches or so. 6 or 7 matches or something to get the Mark 8 helmet. So I was having a go at that over the weekend as well. That was fun. Okay, well, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with like the look of these for metallic surfaces. So I guess the next thing I should do is move on to another area, because you don't want to see me paint that over and over again. And the blue, so the blue. I use Payne's Grey and Black as the deepest shadows. It's this Regal Blue I've used for the main part of it. Then I'm going to highlight up with Crystal Blue, Bright Sapphire, maybe even to some pure white. Or maybe I'll pick like a slightly weirder colour, like a yellow to highlight. Maybe. See how it's looking anyway. So first of all, I'm going to shade down these blue bits that I've already painted in this Regal Blue. So yes, just some Payne's Grey here. I'm just painting in some random side bits to be the shadow. Like the front's obviously going to be the most brightly lit part of it. And it gets darker around it. Okay, so let's start on these leg bits anyway for now. I'm going to take a halfway mix, because I think that was a bit too dark. It was just a solid drop from the Regal Blue to the Payne's Grey. Do like the bottom half in that, maybe the top half of that. That's a nice little blend there, I do quite like that. Leave it fairly solid on the other side. And with these, I guess what I'm doing is I'm just kind of picking an end to make darker and one end to make lighter, and you know, rather than work it out for all of them, I'll then, you know, I'll pick one that's going to be slightly lighter, and then on the other side, the adjacent panel, I'm just going to go the opposite end, if that makes sense. Just to add, it's like contrast, it's just you're constantly stacking dark against light, like different colours against their opposites, and a lot of kind of making a piece look interesting is just about that, just, you know, where creating that kind of definition and making every piece like pop. Yeah, it's just about your darks against your lights, which is why you'll have like an edge highlight and then like a recess shade and stuff. It's all the same principle, making all those sections pop. Right, so Okay, let's say that's done for now. I can come back to it if I need to. Let's get this regal blue, crystal blue and bright sapphire next. So let's highlight up with some of this crystal blue. Very Breaking Bad colour name. Okay. I'm just going to pile that up on the brightest spot, and then I'm only going to use this on the panels that aren't in shadow. I'm just going to build it up on the very brightest parts of them. That's there. Maybe there's a tiny bit underneath. Now this one I picked to be a brightest panel, even though like it is underneath, but it's not as bright as the other panels, and I've already established like the side ones are darker, so yeah. Okay. I don't need too many highlights on this, but I think I'm going to go slightly one stage brighter by just mixing in a bit of the bright sapphire. This kind of like sky blue colour. I'm just going to hit a fairly thin line down the middle of there. Now I'm actually kind of like building up a little bit of texture with some of these, and that's just adds a little bit of interest. You don't have to, like, some people might get them looking very smooth and that, but I don't know, I think a little bit of texture looks good on it. Not much, you're not, you're still painting like a flat surface, and you don't want it to look too ragged, but just a little bit beaten up. Now I go to that bright sapphire, which is paint's looking alright, maybe a little bit dried up. No, that's fine. Just, yeah, it's edge highlighting time. Kind of sticking in the bristles of my brush a little bit. It shows it's not as its freshest, so I'll just give it a good mix. Can always just put some more paint on, but I don't want to waste it when it's actually in good condition. Well, it could be in worse condition rather. Right, I'll get this line here. A bit of delicacy, don't want it too thick. It's like with kind of inking and cartooning, you don't want your inside edges to be too thick. Like, it generally works if the outside edges are the thicker ones. I think I've kind of not too happy with how neat that one is, so let's just go back to our blues, just kind of tidy it up a little bit. It's totally okay to mess up your edge highlighting and tidy them up afterwards. I do it all the time. I see the time's getting on actually, so let me edge highlight this last one and then I'll see how we're doing. I might have to call it there, but I do enjoy kind of sitting here painting and just explaining what I'm doing, so I hope people actually enjoy this and I'm not just being a boring fart. It would be nice to yeah, if I could just like make some more friends through this and you know, pass on a bit of knowledge, all that stuff. Should remind everyone as well, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to us on Bleeding Tree Gaming. Drop the video a like, check out all the cool stuff in the description. We've got all that stuff, you know, lots of it. Discord, coffee link. Yeah, if you're enjoying this you can buy me a coffee. It was really fun group we got on Discord, Facebook, all those stuff. All the good stuff. Well, Facebook's not that good, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, yeah, I've got my regular D&D game in a bit. I really enjoy that on a Monday fortnightly. My current character is a half-orc barbarian called Sean. She's based on the Butch Orc from that piece of like 5th edition design art that sent a lot of people into paroxysms of rage. I just thought it was a cool design. It's nice having a straightforward character as well. My last one was an extremely meta warlock who was just like constantly she was constantly just like commenting on dungeons and stuff, like aspiring dungeon owner basically was my last character. Very evil, but wanted to save the world, so her evil like ancient one god could devour it rather than the campaign boss. That was a fun one to do. Okay, you can see I've made some solid progress on this now. Gonna be winding down, but I hope you've enjoyed this. I really want to do this more regularly. I keep on saying that, and I also have burnout, it's a thing, and not always got the patience for it, but you know, I like sitting here with a camera on and just painting and talking into the void, and hopefully if I do it enough, maybe some people will talk back to me. I look into the void and it waves and says cooey. Okay, there's now no one viewing, so this is probably the time to call it, I guess. Luke and Tammy have had to jump off, but yeah, very fun, just making a start on this. There's a lot more to go on the model, but between the blue and the metal, that's a large chunk of it done. If you want any more kind of a general broad overview of the stuff I'm doing here, this is obviously very similar to the Django Fett one that I did recently, and yep, you can find that video on our channel. I'll try and link it in the comments. Right then, well, thank you very much for watching. I've been Amy, aka Warpfiend. This is Bleeding Tree Gaming. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.